like, let's say that you had like a cold and you wanted to fast for that.
Okay.
How much longer after should you fast after the symptoms go away? Like, as soon as the symptoms go away, you stop, or is it good to fast for a little bit longer? Or?
Each situation's different. In most cases, you probably want to fast a little longer, but it depends. With the cold, I mean, the cold is your body detoxifying. So when your body's done that work, I mean, if that's all you need, I mean, it's usually not all you need to do, because colds happen because immune function is low, right? So stuff builds up in the body, says, I got to do something about this. Whereas if you maintain excellent choices, you'll never get a cold, right? So it just depends. I mean, in most cases, it would probably be beneficial to go a little longer, at least.
How about, so how long did you fast for the bite? And
well, in 3 days, this was healed. And I decided, I'm going to just keep going. I went another week.
so you went 10 days?
Yep.
Okay.
Because it had already been, at that point, actually it had only been a year, I think, since I broke my hip and fasted for a couple weeks. But
So you thought might as well.
yeah,
I did
here's,
3.
here's
so.
an opportunity.
Yeah. Cool.
I'll just, give the body, I mean, it's probably useful, right? Even after you've done 2 or 3 or 4, some of you might need even 4 long fasts. Even after you've done that, especially if you're living in a city, as many of you do, you might want to fast once a year for a week. But I'll tell you what, once you've done 2 or 3 or 4 fasts of 21 days or more with guidance, a week is going to be easy. You won't need any help with that. Although, I have many people that want help with that. I mean, I have people that are very intelligent who, there's a guy that's fasted with me 7 times, I think. He's a smart guy, runs a division of a successful high-tech company in Silicon Valley. And he knows what to do. And he still comes here every time because he knows it's going to be easier and better if he does it here. There's a woman in Santa Cruz, California, who has fasted with me. She's got the all-time record, I think 16 times. She's an alternative practitioner. She understands the process pretty well, but she still contacts me every time she needs to fast. She knows it's going to be better and easier. She's going to get a better result because she's got me to report to. She knows I'm looking at her numbers and we're talking about what's happening. She's not going to cheat. She's not going to make the mistakes she might make if she was on her own. The only way to really understand the process is to have a ton of experience. Honestly, I will say this, I mean, long after I've retired or, Tanglewood no longer exists, I will tell anyone, fast with experienced guidance only. And so I don't know that I want to be writing a book that tells people what to do exactly and have them thinking that they're okay on their own. I don't think it's a good idea. I really don't think it's ever a good idea. And the thing is, what makes it tricky is that it may well be that 90% of the time you'd be perfectly fine. But that other 10% of the time you wouldn't be. And how do you know? How do you know which is which? It really requires, it's a tricky thing. It requires a lot of experience. So maybe there'll come a day when people will be healthy enough in general, they can listen to their bodies and understand more. But I'm not so sure that day is coming yet. Yeah.
Loren, who needs supervise your fasts?
Nobody.
But you're recommending everyone not to do unsupervised fasting?
Yeah. Hypocrisy, look it up. No, listen, here's the thing, okay? When I started my journey almost 35 years ago, there was no internet. There were fasting centers, but I was not aware of that. I didn't know anybody connected to this. I had found a book by a guy who'd been dead for 80 years or so, and as far as I knew, I was on my own. So I learned on my own. I didn't know what else to do. Okay? That's what I did. By the time I realized there were places I could go, I already had a lot of experience. But one of the reasons I fasted so much is I didn't know what I was doing. I'm lucky I didn't really hurt myself, because people do. I mean, I probably get at least, it seems like it's dropped off a little bit, but I probably get at least 5 or 6 messages a week, 3, 4 maybe, from people saying, I fasted on my own, now I have problems, can you help me? It happens all the time. I mean, sometimes it's at least one every day, okay? So, I don't know. I mean, I was, maybe this was like my mission in life, maybe that's what I'm here for, something, I don't know. But I got through it on my own. I made a lot of mistakes. I probably fasted a lot more than anyone would really need to because I was learning. So I didn't get as much benefit as I could have by going through it. I wouldn't recommend doing what I did. Does anyone want to, take 3 years of their life to learn what I can teach you today? I mean, that's a pretty big price to pay. If you're not working while you're fasting, that's expensive, let alone time-consuming. Okay? So there are times it pays, it makes sense from every angle to have someone who actually knows to tell you and show you what to do, to guide you. If I knew today what if I knew then what I knew today, I would find somebody that I trusted to lead me through the experience. But by the time I found those people, I already was so far along. I never bothered.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm sorry, let me just add one more piece. So the people that are certified by the IAHP do a 6-month internship, as I said. I approached, one of my mentors was an amazing guy from Australia named Alec Burton, who died about 2 years ago. And Alec was a great guy. He was always super friendly and willing to help. He knew a lot, knew a ton, and was willing to share. There were other people that just weren't very nice. They weren't, like, they might have known, they didn't want to talk to you. Alec was always a super nice guy. And I got to know him over the course of quite a few years, because I used to go to natural hygiene conferences every year for 5-6 years. I was invited to be on the board of the association until they realized I was 100% raw. And they're like, oh, that's too radical. But I asked Alec because at the time, he trained people through the IAHP. He certified people to supervise fasts. So I said to Alec, Alec, I'd love to come train with you. He said, yeah, I'd love to have you. And then he said, remind me, are you a naturopath or an MD? What? I said, no, I'm not. I don't have any license. He said, oh, I'm sorry, but our rules are really clear. I can't train you. So what I did was I hired somebody who was certified to teach the program, and I hired him to put him on my team for a year. So I did a 1-year internship with him. And then when he left, I hired another guy with the same qualification. So I did a 2-month internship right here. Not here at this location, but at Tanglewood, 20 plus years ago. I did a 2-year internship working side by side with someone I was paying to be there. And honestly, I had more experience than either of these guys by then. But they had learned some things that definitely helped. I mean, I learned from them, and I think they learned quite a bit from me too.